Hello, good afternoon. My name is Hector Garcia, and this is my last video class assignment for the class of migration and health. On this video, well, I was assigned to read through two articles, and well, it seems like a one book. Okay, but first, let's talk about these two articles and let's see what's new for me. Okay, first of all, we have the one called migrant workers and their occupational health and safety because this last week the main topic was migration and occupational health. So let's see. Basically, in general terms, we have to understand that this article talks about those occupational risks on health status that migrants workers have to deal with, have to face. They established a lot that migrants have a lot of exposure to risks, such as being exposed in exposure to uh, chemicals, heat, um, physical injuries. I mean, it's obvious. If a migrant is working in a construction place, there's a lot of probability for him to get injured sooner or later. Another main point that they talk about in this article is the limited access to the health services and being scared to be deported. I have mentioned this way before in a lot of past videos, and it's logical that even though they get sick or they get injured, they're gonna be scared of revealing what's going on because they are scared that they will send them to their origin country. And now more than ever, because of the US government, for example, in the United States, we all know the politics of the current president, but well, yeah, we have to respect it. And another point that I really liked about it's that pressure that they had to survive, they have to face. But well, that pressure that I'm talking about, it's going to affect their psychological health. Basically, being a migrant is well not easy. Maybe well, I'm not a migrant, but I have watched a lot of documentaries. I have a lot some videos, and there's a lot of pressure, especially in those people that they have a family, where they have a family, and the family depends on them. So if they get sick, if they don't get a job, they lose their job. Of course, there's a lot of stress which gonna affect them sooner or later. So, what kind of solution this article has to bring? It's that they have to increase the supervision of employers, and they should, and that's true, they should include migrants under health um, in the public health studies. I mean, migrants are not strange and apart people. They are all living in the same community and they have to accept it this the way it is. So they should respect that. The second article it's called Occupational Health and Safety of Migrant Workers. That's like that's not an article. It's more like a kind of book. But in this part, the teacher asks us to read the chapter 14, where they mention that migrants uh, are exposed to injuries in muscles, in bones, and oh, there's something new that migrants and the workers have to survive to long hours period of time working with a low payment, low money, uh, getting paid, and informal employment. With informal employment, I would say that is basically they are not in a legal status, and that can only represent that they will not have a health system, a social service of health, which is dangerous, a lot, so dangerous and not fair. Only because we are migrants, they're not gonna treat us the same. They're not gonna give us the same amount of money, the same amount of respect that we should get. And something that I liked, the the status on migrants, the migrant status limits the capacity of wanting and asking for better conditions. If you're an illegal, it's obvious that you're not gonna ask for something else because you're scared, you're illegal, you have no rights, or that's what they are trying to tell us, that you have no rights to ask for something more. If you ever like hire your boys, they're gonna send you back to your country. So they also talk about that some employers they abuse of the vulnerable status of the migrants. So migrants are gonna be scared of reporting like sickness of because of being scared of being deported, which is the same thing I mentioned before. And last but not least, we have like the giant book that I talked about. This is not an article, it's a book. Of course, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't read it. I didn't read all of it. I read a little bit of pages. Of course, there were a lot. I read more resumes on the internet. But it's called Fresh Fruit and Broken Bodies. It talks about people from Mexico, especially specifically in Oaxaca, that are working on uh, Americans' fields and currently living in such a bad conditions. And broken bodies means health. Uh, well, broken bodies means broken health. That's the conclusion I get of this article, book, or whatever it is. And yeah, I mean the hierarchy that it's very important, the hierarchy. But well, those are all the subjects, those are all the terms that I learned in this week. It's not a lot, like I know, but this is more like a kind of conclusion for me. I get it. I learned a lot about it. And well, the main points of the rating documentary I have already mentioned it. Was there anything unclear or confusing to me? Well, I mean, I would like, no, there was nothing unclear to me. Thanks to all the videos and movies that I have watched, I know some basic points of this. Was there anything new? Any changed my way of thinking, of perceiving things? Well, yeah. Now I know that most of Mexican migrants are scared almost all the time. And yes, I would like to explore something more. I would like to explore more about some things um, of this fresh fruit and broken bodies. I would like to explore more not only of Oaxacan, Oaxacan people. Uh, well, they are Mexicans, but I would like to explore more in different states. And one specific example, I'm gonna give I want to talk about two things. That's why this is kind of there has only been 10 minutes of video. One of the examples is my uncle. I have like one uncle who's living in the United States. He's not illegal. He's legal. I think he's now a resident now, a citizen, sorry, in the United States. But something that I really want to talk about is that one time he got injured. He didn't get sick. He got injured in working. I think he was like in a construction place. And he was not scared, but he said something that was really important to me, that it was very expensive. He was also about to sue it. I don't know how to put a demand to the company he was working on. But it's really important to have a social health system service, and he was having some trouble with it. Maybe even though he's a citizen. Oh, and he also mentioned that even though he is now like a citizen, people treat him differently because of his skin color. Let's be honest, I'm not as white as an Los Angeles, California kid. So probably they will treat me different. And the other example is something that I would like to share with you. I would like to tell you that I have watched this movie a lot. I have loved it so much. And it talks about mm, kind of migrant style. Okay, but I would like you to watch it if you have the time. Here it is. As you can see, it's called McFarlane. Okay, but it's based on California kids. Okay, with parents from Mexico and different parts of Latin America. And yeah, it's really cool. I would like you to watch that movie, and because thanks to those kind of films, I now have the basics knowledge of the migration. So thanks a lot for watching my videos. Thanks a lot for giving me this support. Thanks to the teacher, even though I've never watched him in my life. Thanks a lot. And I don't know if he speaks English. I mean, I think so. But thanks. I learned a lot, and I'm not saying it because I want a 10. I want 100 on my score. I really have learned a lot. And yeah, it's been an honor. Thank you. So, bye bye.